This is the fourth mini lecture for section 13.2. We're continuing our discussion of the quartiles and measuring the variability of a data set. The 5-number summary of a data set includes the lowest score of the data set, the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile, and the highest score. So let's find the 5-number summary, the IQR, and the outliers of the data set T. So in order to find the 5-number summary, we need the data of T listed in order. So let's just copy that down from what we had before. We had 40, 40, 40, 40, 45, 49, 61, 70, 74, 74, 75, 79, 81, 82, 84, 85, 85, 85, 86, 86, 89, 91, 96. So here the number of scores is 23. If I divide that by 2, then the quotient is going to be 11. So the lower quartile is the median of the first 11 scores. And the upper quartile is the median of the last 11 scores. Okay, and because n is odd, that happens to leave the middle score out, which is fine. Okay, the lower quartile, again, is the median of the first 11 scores. 11 is odd, so that's going to be the middle score. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the lower quartile. The upper quartile is the median of the last 11 scores. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the lower quartile is 49. Upper quartile is 85. So the 5-number summary is 40, 49. The median is 79. The upper quartile is 85, and then the high score is 96. Okay, the IQR is 85 minus 49, which is 36. Okay, to find the outliers, we need to look for scores that are below the lower quartile, which is 49, minus 1.5 times the IQR. 1.5 times 36 is 54. 49 minus 54 would be negative 5. And there are no scores below that, of course. And if I do the upper quartile, which is 85 plus 1.5 times the IQR, that's 85 plus 54, which would be 139. And there are no scores above that. So there are no scores outside of those. That means there are no outliers. Okay, so it might seem kind of strange that we have this data set R, which had a clearer center but did have outliers. And then the data set T is very scattered, but it does not have outliers. But actually that's what you should expect. Because data set T is so scattered, there are not really atypical values. There are no values that are way outside the middle half, because the middle half is really big. It's a very great spread. On the other hand, data set R, the middle half is relatively small, and so if you have a data value that's reasonably far away from that, it's going to be an outlier. Okay, so this 5-number summary is conveniently illustrated using what's called a box plot, or a box-and-whisker plot. So we're going to make box plots for the data sets R and T. And to do this, I want to do them side by side, because this is a good way to compare the data sets. And I want to begin by drawing a number line that will include be able to include all of the data from R and T. And they look to range from the 40s to the 90s. So I just need to make my number line go from 40 to 100. Okay, when you do this, try to make everything evenly spaced. And I want marks for all of the numbers in between, not just for where I have scores. So I'll do a longer one for the 5s to make it easier to read this. And we'll add in the 1s, put 4 little tick marks between each of those. So there's our number line. Okay, so let's begin with the box plot for R. R, remember, had it had a lower quartile of 71 and an upper quartile of 78. So I'm going to begin by making a box going from 71 to 78. Okay, and then you put a line where the median occurs. The median of R, I have to remind myself, is 76. And then you have the whiskers that extend to the extremes of the data set. So that's going to extend down to 46 and up to 92. Okay, so this is a picture of the 5-number summary of R. This is the data set R. And the middle half of the data is in this box right here. The middle of the data is 76. And then you've got the lower quarter ranging from 46 to 71, the upper quarter ranging from 78 to 92. And so this kind of captures in a snapshot what the data looks like. You've got it broken up into the 4 quarters, and you can see how it's distributed along the range. Okay, now let's make a box and whisker plot for T. So T had the quartiles 49 and 85. So we'll make a box going from 49 to 85. I'll just do it on the other side of the number line here. Okay, the median of the data set T was 79. Okay, then I need whiskers extending to 96 and 40. And that's the data set T. Okay, so now I can look at these 2 data sets side by side, and I can see a lot about how they're distributed. I can see that T has a very spread out middle, whereas R has a very compact middle. I can see that by comparison, the lower quarter of T is fairly compact, which would tell me that I'm probably going to have a lot of like atypical scores in here. So you could imagine maybe I give the same exam in 2 different classes, class R and class T, and then I can use this picture to illustrate the difference between the 2 classes. Or, these could describe, sometimes you see these to compare salaries of men and women, or people at the beginning of their career or toward the end of their career, or what have you, different education levels. And it's a way of comparing different data sets with each other. So you can kind of see at a glance how do they compare.